In this solo Valheim boss guide, everything is timestamped below, but I'm going to be showing you how to find, summon, and defeat the 5th boss, Yagluth, the spirit of the Goblin King, who will be located in the Plains biome. I will be showing you a super easy method to kill him, as well as how to do it legitimately, and also sharing some tips and tricks to get everything you need to summon him. All I ask in return is that you smash that like button with the force of a goblin berserker. That would really help out the channel. So step 1, how to find the Plains biome. At this point in the game, you have undoubtedly come across the rolling grassy hills of the Plains biome, probably while sailing past it. It looks like this on the map, and it will be randomly generated across the world. Step 2. Where do you find the 5th boss location? Yagluth, King of the Goblins, is rather annoying to find as you're roaming the Plains biome. The easiest way to find him is to keep an eye out for these Stonehenge-like structures placed in a circle, or just some stone pillars placed in a circle formation, because these little stone formations have a chance to spawn a boss locator runestone next to them that you can activate to find the location of the boss on the map. Now, while these areas are very easy to spot since the Plains biome is so flat, unfortunately the game will spawn very few of them, so you have to search far and wide to actually find the boss locator stone. I actually ended up finding Yagluth's boss altar before even finding the locator stone. Once you do find the locator stone though, it will just show you the closest boss altar to your current location. Step 3. How to summon the 5th boss, Yagluth. You need to find and collect 5 Fuling Totems, which look like this. But first, appreciate how the altar of this boss is actually 4 fingers and a thumb rising out of the ground, attempting to escape from beneath. A pretty cool reference to the lore there. Step 4. How do we find these Fuling Totems? Fuling Totems can be found within Fuling camps, which are these goblin settlements and guard posts scattered throughout the Plains biome. They will also be dropped very rarely from the goblin shamans that are quite easy to kill, and also goblin berserkers, though goblin berserkers are extremely difficult to kill most of the time. So here are a few tips on collecting all 5 of these goblin totems scattered all over the world. Firstly, you will find Fuling guard posts throughout the plains. These are usually small little stone guard towers, and sometimes they'll have their own Fuling totems within them. They're very easy to spot since they give off a purple glow even from a distance. And in comparison to like the huge Fuling camps, these guard camps, as you can see, are only protected by like 3 to 4 Fulings at once, so they're a lot easier to go in solo and handle yourself. Secondly, you're going to be finding the rest of the totems within Fuling camps, which have tons of enemy Fulings that are very hard to deal with, especially as a solo player. The best way to deal with them is to scout out a particular camp and then go into sneak mode and maybe try and walk close to it. This is especially easy at nighttime since you'll be able to see the purple glow from the Fuling trophy if one exists in the camp. They're kind of placed on these sort of X wooden stake platforms, almost like a totem pole, and they give off that purple glow so you can't miss them. Then honestly, the easiest way of getting these is just to run directly into the camp, yoink the trophy, and then just run away. Don't even bother trying to kill the enemies. They will chase you for a while, but then they'll give up eventually. This can also be done without armor for minimal risk, and I also recommend that you make sure your weapons are holstered because it actually allows your character to run faster. It's definitely still worth taking out the goblin shamans because they die in a few hits, and they have a chance of dropping the totems as well. Once you've collected 5 totems, it's time for step 6. The best weapons and armor to use versus the 5th boss. So firstly, for your weapon choice, Yagluth has a high resistance to piercing damage. So spears, bow and arrows will literally do pretty much no damage to him. He's extremely resistant. He's also resistant to fire damage and completely immune to poison. So what this means is that you're going to want to use frost arrows. They do the most damage of 52 along with the Draga Fangbow, even though it has a poison effect, and when paired up with the Draga Fangbow, you'll be doing the most amount of damage. Obviously, the Draga Fangbow's poison effect will be useless against this boss, but you can find a link on where to get that bow below. That said, I suggest not using a bow and fighting this boss in melee combat. In that regard, the best weapon of choice is either Frostsneer for maces or the black metal sword, doing the most damage at 113 per hit. Guides on where to get both of those weapons are linked below. Next, I highly recommend you create a fire resistance barley wine. This will reduce the damage of all Yagluth's attacks by 50%, since they're pretty much all fire-based attacks. It also reduces the duration of burning by half as well, and this effect lasts for 600 seconds. I'm also using the fully upgraded padded armor, the best armor in the game currently, and I'll link a guide on how to get that below too. Step 7. How to actually beat Yagluth. So firstly, I'll show you how to beat Yagluth legitimately, and then I'll show you a super easy cheese method to kill him with absolutely no skill required. So let's place the 5 Fuling Totems and activate the sacrificial stone to summon him. I'm just going to quickly show you how much bow damage we actually do, and as you can see with the frost arrows, we're going to wear him down slowly, but it's obviously a lot slower than using melee damage. But at range, you're actually fairly safe from his attacks, especially since you can use the altar in the center as an indestructible barrier against his ranged attacks. So you're going to want to lead him to one of these stone fingers, and then you can easily use this as a barrier to kite him around so you can regenerate your stamina, and it's a wall of protection between yourself and him. Yagluth actually has 3 different types of attacks though that you need to look out for. Firstly, if he raises his left hand to the sky, he's about to call down some meteor stones, and these will be fired at a slight angle in the direction he's facing. When the meteors hit the ground, they'll explode and set fire to you. You can easily dodge these though by sheltering on the other side of the stone wall here, or you can simply look at the sky and kind of judge where they're coming from, and then you can just sprint sideways and none of them will actually hit you. The biggest mistake you can make though is just stand still and tank like 5 of them to the face. Secondly, Yagluth will reel back his head and then he'll shoot flames from his mouth and slowly turn towards you. This attack will absolutely melt your health bar, even with fire resistance, so do take great care of it, but it is very easy to dodge. You can literally just run left or run right away from his attack or stand behind a wall to dodge its long range. Yagluth's third attack is when he raises his right fist. This will start glowing blue and he'll slam it onto the ground, doing a big area of effect explosion. If you're standing right underneath him, it will do some blunt damage to you, which you want to be careful of. And the AoE itself is a burning effect of fire damage that will last a few moments even after he's attacked. It will also give you a fire debuff effect. But it's actually possible with the fire resistance mead potion to just tank this attack and carry on attacking him. Just make sure his fist doesn't hit you directly. So during this fight, I'm literally just leading him around this stone finger and laying into him with the sword power attacks and slashing away at his health bar. You can rather easily get close to him and just constantly walk around him by his tail, like almost like a Dark Souls boss. This causes him to rotate constantly and he's pretty much unable to hit you. Just take care of his area of effect attack. When he uses that, back off so you don't get hit by his fist, because otherwise you'll take a ton of blunt damage. If you have enough health, it's rather easy just to tank his flame-based attacks though. A great tactic is to get chunks of damage onto him using the sword and mace special attack, which allows you to hit him between his own attack patterns. Especially his flame breath attack really makes him vulnerable and open to damage. So after Yagluth is finally defeated, he will drop both the Yagluth head trophy, which will give you a special power I'll show you in a moment, and also a placeholder item, which currently doesn't have a use in the game because it's in beta, but it will most likely be used to craft the next crafting station that you'll need to make the next set of weapons and armor when it's released. Next, I'm going to be showing you guys how to easily kill Yagluth. This method is really very simple. You're going to start off by mining a hole into the rock directly downwards, which you're going to be using to trap the boss in the hole. The important part is to make it the correct size so the boss gets stuck, but not too deep so that you can still attack him. So you'll want to dig straight down and then widen the hole, but keep it narrow. This is so that his torso will fit inside and he'll just be stuck in the place, unable to turn around. I'm mining the hole just over 3.5 wooden walls deep, which is as deep as it needs to be. After you've mined the hole to get out, you can just sprint and jump at the same time against the wall, and you can pretty much climb any vertical rock surface like this. I've also built a little wooden fence here just to make sure he falls in the hole. Next we can go ahead and summon him, but we will need a harpoon for this method. If you don't have a harpoon yet, just check out the link on how to get one below. After the boss spawns, if you just go ahead and harpoon him, and once he's hooked, you can just run away and run him towards the hole that you just dug. You'll need to angle the hole so it's in between you and Yagluth. And then if you carry on walking away, you'll start dragging him into the hole and he'll actually get stuck there. Now this easy technique works best if you just use arrows. If you walk far away now, you'll actually cause the boss to lose aggro and stop attacking you. And then you can pull out your bow and use frost arrows and just sit back and shoot him from safety. Obviously this will take you ages to do since he has such a high resistance to pierce damage. Alternatively, you can go closer and lay down a few power attacks, but note that he can still attack you even though he's stuck in the hole right now. It is possible to reset his aggro by running away and then approaching him from behind, which can sometimes cause him to get stuck, unable to move or attack you. Or alternatively, if you dig the hole even deeper, he will get stuck at the bottom and you can freely shoot him from above or attack him. As long as he can't see you, he will not aggro and attack you. Personally, I actually find this boss fight rather easy to do the proper way, but I suggest using arrows if you want to stay completely safe. So after you have Yagluth's trophy, you can mount it on the standing stones and it will give you the Forsaken power of resistance versus magic damage and lightning damage. This is basically just resistance to fire, frost and lightning damage. But let me know if you guys have any more tips and tricks in the comments, and I will see you in the next Valheim guide.